No
Don't
worries.
offend. I don't want you to offend anyone right now. We made it this far. All right. I don't know if anyone's watching this yet, but if you're coming in, if you're seeing this, apologies, we got cut off. So now we're just live on YouTube. I don't know if anyone's going to get this, blah, blah, blah. See if we get some people coming in. Get those alerts, hopefully. There we go. I see Nicholas. We're back and we're back. You know what's cool about just me when I stream live just directly to YouTube with my app?
Mm-hmm.
You can't see it on your screen, but before it just had like the little YouTube logo and the comment. But when I go directly to YouTube, I see the profile pic.
Uh-huh.
Ooh, that's a winner. I might have to. I don't know. This is pretty cool. All right, we're back. People are coming in. Cool. So let's. All right. So first off, I want to say apologies. John and I both have no idea what the heck happened, and I'm the one hosting this podcast, but I have no idea literally what happened. So sorry for anyone that got kicked out, but anyway, I don't know where you were with that thought, or I don't know if you remember what you were talking about.
I do not.
So
I do not.
let's shoot the shit for a second. I'll tell you what. Let's drop some comments. Does anyone have any comments about? Let's do a little Q&A. Maybe for like the next couple minutes, we'll take a couple questions because I think we were just kind of like wrapping up anyway. We've said a lot
Yeah.
of stuff, and John, I know you got stuff to do, and I got stuff to do, and you'll come. We'll do this again real soon. Um, the next time you get a troll, we'll do it again, which will probably be
Yeah.
later today. So
Yeah.
let's
Pretty
say
much.
we'll talk a lot. We'll talk a little bit more. We'll maybe we'll summarize for anyone that might just be seeing this for the first time. Like, oh hey, what's going on? We're live. This is cool. So to summarize, if you have any comments or questions, drop in the comments below. We talked about fat acceptance, talk about fatopia, talking about entitlement, the whole marginalization and the victim culture, and pretty much everything in between of everything that we're dealing with trolling accounts, with Instagram and YouTube dynamics and algorithms and monetization and all the different political and I guess social impacts and ramifications of these things. So actually where we can get started before we take some questions. So if you have questions, you could drop them in the comments below. What, God, my brain is fried, bro. I had a great thing to like say right there. Geez, I set that up and then I brain farted.
Well,
Whatever, man.
so one
You say some words.
one thing that I did want to talk about when we were talking about Fatopia.
Good.
Have you watched it yet? Have you been able to see it?
Oh, I've been able to. I have not.
Okay.
I'm proud to say I have not, which is one of the reasons why I haven't made a video. I kind of get the gist, but I really should make a video without. I'm not going to watch the whole thing. I really don't want to.
Yeah.
I don't. I'm sorry.
Uh-huh. It's no, that's fine.
Yeah.
It's like I said, I think it's pretty good. It's interesting because it seems like it's basically like a YouTube video that was able to get on like Amazon. I don't know how he did it, but so there's this one part where he's talking to this lady that is one of the a supporter of like health at every size, body positivity, but right now she is struggling with getting pregnant because of her size. So I'm always curious. Like I would love to be able to talk to someone that is part of the health at every size and be like, okay, like one of the most basic functions of being a woman is being able to give birth. I understand not all women want to give birth, get that, that's not the argument here. But it's like the fact that, and then again, this could go with being too slim too. It's another issue, right? But it's like the fact that you have put yourself in a position where your body is no longer able to make that happen. It's like, how is that healthy? Like it's just mind blowing to me. I remember when I saw that, because I don't think, obviously I'm a guy, so it's like that's not something that even comes to my mind is like the reproductive system, because I'm not sure how much it affects. Because I know that if you're really really overweight as a guy, it can be harder, but I feel like it's so much more detrimental as a woman, for like your size to literally stop you from being able to have a family, have a child. That's just crazy to me.
Yeah, I mean, you have those also, like the husbands that gain weight with their wife or their significant other when they're pregnant, kind of like sympathy, like you're bringing more food to the house or eating for two people. All those mistakes that people can make when they're pregnant too. And I have never, I don't have any kids, so put that into context. But I agree. Like, I think it goes right back to what you said in the first part of this podcast was you should be healthy. You should be pursuing health and you should be able to do the things you want to do. And I think people can make the argument, well, I don't want to do anything. I just want to sit there and eat and watch Netflix. Really? Is that really what you want to do? Or is that what you're habitually programmed? But if someone wants to have a baby or have a child, you should absolutely be in the best condition, because not only that, but what about after? It's not going to be easier with like the hormone swings, and it's not going to be easier when you have a child to care for, when you're trying to, run around after a little boy or a girl. And it doesn't send a good message. But I 100% agree that, especially when fertility is in the balance, it's very important for a woman to have. I think it's something where if you have the ability and you choose not to have a child, that's one thing. But if you have, like, if you're barren or you have an issue with giving birth because of that and you're not able to, that's when a woman will even more, like, that'll really affect them psychologically, because you can't, even if you wanted to. Like, you should have those options and you should have that ability. But I do agree that enough people or more people don't talk about the health ramifications, but also those types of like endocrine results. Because even guys, right? You're obese, you're going to have higher estrogen levels, the gynecomastia and these other issues from having excessive weight gain, comes down to nutrition and maybe soy and who knows whatever else. But it's obesity, and it does affect your hormones, which do affect, your mental state. I mean, you talked about that earlier. Your mental state was like you were drinking tons of soda. Yeah.
Yeah. It could, like, morbid obesity affects, like, we talk about health and stuff like that, but health is more than just your body. It's everything, right? I actually had a question for you. How would you define like health and fitness? What would your definition of that be?
How do I define it?
And everyone could be different. I'm not saying you have to have a perfect answer.
That's a good question. Well, I think I think the issue is that it's not really definable, because I don't think we have the right. I don't think as a human species, I don't think we understand what that definition actually is, which is why we have all these debates, which is why we have all these different, eat this way, do this, be this weight. I don't think there is an actual answer. For example, like, how the classic methods of checking out our health, like, okay, get a blood test. So you mean whatever, like, you see in that culture that was taken on July 5th at 10 a.m. on a Tuesday, that's like the snapshot of my health. I know when I wake up first thing in the morning, I look like shit, and then I feel better later in the day. So how does that factor into my blood work? Like, what does that mean? Because your body is always reabsorbing stuff like this and the other. So I don't think we have all the metrics that can really tell us our health. Like, okay, health in terms of longevity and disease. We don't have those. We don't have that all locked down yet. We have genetic factors, nature versus nurture. But in terms of, like, I think we have to define them separately, because it's health and fitness.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. So I think that in terms of the health, we don't know yet. We have ideas, but I just don't think we know. And when it comes to fitness, not that we don't know things, but we don't have the full picture. So when it comes to fitness, I think it's being able to do the shit that you want to fucking do. I think you should be able to, and there's a great quote or message, said by someone else, that you should be healthy enough or fit enough to be able to save your own life. So if let's say your car falls into a lake, you should be able to swim to shore. If you need to climb up a tree, you should be able to climb up a fucking tree. If you need to do a pull-up, right, you do a pull-up. If you need to pick something up off the ground, you should be able to pick something up off the ground. You have to be able to build a house or to haul rocks to build the pyramids of Giza. But in our society, you should be able to be fit enough to do the things you need to do, not only to survive, but to facilitate the protection and the procurement of your family and those around you. So if you have to, let's say run, you should be able to run. Like, do you have to run a 10K? No. I don't run long distances. I don't do that. I know you run, but I stopped doing that after a while, but I do a lot of yoga and cardio. So I think you should have cardiovascular capacity. Do you have to be an ultra marathoner? No, that's like a preference. That's a passion. Should you be able to run a mile? Yes. Are you going to be tired after it? Maybe. It doesn't mean you have to be like in the 6-minute mile club. I think you should be able to walk. I think you should be able to walk, run, climb, swim, those types of things. And anything above that, and that's where it gets like that kind of split. People think that fitness is shredded, abs, muscle, physique. God, you did a bodybuilding show. I've never done that, but that is a very specific unhealthy outcome.
Yep. Yeah.
It's an unhealthy way of eating, the binge eating, the
Absolutely.
extreme restrictions. But then when you come to someone who's more average or seemingly average, that's all of a sudden seen as like, okay, you're not good enough. Because when you type in fitness anywhere, you see the epitome of fitness. And so that's how I would define it: strong enough or healthy enough to be able to save your own life. And then to the degree in which you take that, that's going to be your own personal definition of fitness. What was about that with the take it to the next level? When you go on, let's say a hashtag, right? So you have a cell phone. Most of us, anyone watching probably has a cell phone, watching this on a cell phone. If you type in a hashtag, you type in fitness or abs, you can scroll for 6 hours and just see pictures of everyone that's in better condition than you. However, you might only scroll through, let's say 2,000 pictures. Think about how many people there are in the world. So you're seeing, literally, you're going through, okay, let me see the ab all-stars, right? Let me see the bicep all-stars on Instagram. That's all you're seeing. You're seeing the biggest accounts. You're seeing the Explore tab. They're not showing you, the Explore tab doesn't show you people with 10 followers. They show you people with 500,000, 50,000, a million. So you're seeing the best of the best and the most successful perceived success. But I think all those definitions need to change. People need to understand that you can customize your own fitness and your own success in fitness. You can define that yourself. But I think those minimum requirements are fitness. Like if you can't swim, then that's really you're not that fit. You know, if you can't swim, doesn't mean you have to be like an Olympic swimmer. You're not gonna be out of breath, but you should be able to execute various tasks to be able to, protect yourself as a human. To be well-rounded, but then the visual, the aesthetics is usually where people end up with that. So I know it's a long-winded answer, but
no, I love it's. I don't like the reason I like to ask it. We ask it sometimes on my podcast, but me and my girlfriend, we were on a walk. I like to go on like long walks every once in a while. So, and we kind of started talking about this, and I think that to answer my own question, because I'm that guy. Like when I think of health, I think of the absence of disease, and not just the absence of disease right now, but the absence of disease with like your current situation, what it's going to look like in 20 years, right? And so I think for me, that's a pretty good definition of health. It's not really even a definition. Again, I'm not saying I'm right. I'm still like I'm sure my answer will change. Yeah. But I think that
which is totally fine. By the way, you don't have to have one belief and then hold that. That's the problem. Is people have this belief and then again, I don't want to get you off topic. I didn't mean to interrupt you, but that's their belief is their identity. Yeah. And then no matter what, they don't change. It's like it's okay to change. I'm a lot different. I'm a lot more lax with my content in terms of like, if you want to be a vegan, fine. Like I don't rage as much on like what people prefer. It's like, you know what? If you want to have a cheat meal, go do that. If you want to do like, it's not me. It's not my life. I don't have to do that, but yeah, you have to do it for you. Continue. I just wanted you can change.
Yeah, exactly. So like I would say, the absence of disease now and in the future, and a lot of that comes, again, obviously there are some diseases that it's not like no matter how healthy you are, some things just happen, right? But the absence of those things, and then because even those diseases that happen that, God forbid, it's like nothing you did caused it. Once you have that disease, you're no longer considered healthy. Not in like a bad way, but it's like you're fighting a disease, right?
Right.
So that's kind of how I think of health, and then fitness is pretty much exactly what you said. It's being able to move and like move around. If someone's chasing you, you're able to run away from them. If they chase you for 30 miles, you might get caught because again, that's you're going to have to be an ultra marathoner maybe to get away from them. But it's like you can. If something's falling, you can move out of the way from that happening to you. If you have to pick something up, you can do those things. And then when it comes to preferences, that's up to the person. That's why I always say, people always ask me, I want to lose weight. What's the best exercise? And I'm like, the one you enjoy doing. I'm not going to tell you to go to the gym if you hate going to the gym. I'm not going to tell you to do CrossFit if you think CrossFit's stupid. I'm not going to tell you to go for a run if you hate running. Like if you don't enjoy doing that thing, you're not going to stick with it. So it's like, it's up to you to choose what sort of fitness you want. One thing I would say is that I think it has been changing over time, but for a long time, especially when Instagram first came out, everyone was chasing being the physique person, right? Being on stage. And I think, honestly, I truly do think that how far in the extreme Instagram went with that, like everyone competing, has been why the health at every size movement has taken hold on Instagram so much, because everyone was trying to be shredded and like as lean as possible, because in their head they thought that that's what fitness was. So I don't think that it's that. I think that some people, and I'm not saying that everyone that has a six pack is unhealthy. Some people just naturally they have six packs. It's like they have their fat distributes other places of their body. But some people have to struggle really hard to get to that point to where it's at a level of unhealthiness, right? Now they can't run. Now, like when they go into the gym, they're much weaker because of how lean they've gotten. So I think like fitness is, being able to move throughout your life and, go on a hike if you want to go on a hike, if you have to run away from something. I understand not everyone likes to run, but if it's like a necessary thing, you're able to do that. Your body can feasibly do that for a little bit. And then again, whenever to what extreme you take that is up to you. I don't think everyone needs to be in the gym or doing any sort of fitness, for 3 hours a day, but at least a few times a week, you're going to be fine.
Yeah, it's extremes breed extremes. So because of all this like extreme and like the abs and all that shit was just pounded into people's faces. I think that's a really good point. I'm glad we kind of reconnected on the podcast, like for the second part, just because that's a really huge thing that gets overlooked. Just the fact that because of all this, and that's the fitness industry. Remember, like, God, it was completely.
It was huge.
West
Remember,
in the 90s and the early 2000s, just like whatever you want, like, all this, like all this, like the supplement boom and the fitness boom. And that's all it was. Too much. Yeah.
It's crazy because even, I'm not sure if you remember, I remember when I first started my like Instagram page, it wasn't even to like become an influencer. I hate that word so much, but it was like I was posting too much stuff on my regular page. So I was like, okay, I'll make one that's about my weight loss, right? But I remember when Shreds was huge, that supplement company. Do you remember that?
Yeah, of course I do. And I remember all the guys that like the scams and stuff. Like
it was a scam, and two, they were photoshopping their pictures. It wasn't even real.
Is that still around, or they fold up?
I'm pretty sure it's gone. If it is around, it's like tiny. It must be. It's not like it was. I followed, and this was before I knew anything. Like I followed a ton of them because that was the only fitness content on Instagram.
Yep.
And so it was the only fitness content, and it was so extreme that it was like, for me, that's what I needed to get to feel like I was fit. And so again, I love using the pendulum analogy. I use it all the time, but it's like pendulum was here. It swung all the way over to here, and where it should be is in the middle. And that's what I'm trying. That's like I think that's where you're trying to go with your content. That's what we're trying to do. We're not trying to say you shouldn't be obese. You should be this. No. Just be in the middle. We want you to live. That's it. You don't need to be running ultra marathons. You don't need to be shredded on stage.
Yeah,
in the middle.
Yeah, there's. I think that was with Devin Physique, and that was a guy that that was the original Brittany Dawn. He was like having his assistant send out plans and shit like that, and he was like photoshopping his waist and things like that. And of course, everyone's still got their business. They just dug it right back up, changed the name of something, and now they're doing their own thing. People forget. I got another video about your favorite influencer coming up this week, by the way. But yeah, there's a lot of, I do agree with that pendulum swing. And as much as I like I want to guide people to their middle of the pendulum, because I'm really trying to keep the pressure on the fact that it's not, if you want amazing results, if you want the extreme, and you want, not the extreme in terms of like going excessive, but if you want amazing results, you have to put in amazing effort. And again, it comes back to what we discussed earlier with entitlement. Just because you have a gym membership and you walk through the door, just because you have a protein powder, just because you want, or you say, hey, it's time for me to lose weight, I'm going to go do this, gives you no entitlement to actually getting results. And, I haven't been in this game. I didn't just get involved with fitness. I've been lifting for 20 years. And it's not like I've been gaining progressively, and like, could I be bigger? Sure. Could I be leaner? Sure. But my experience, and that comes with age and experience, I care about it less and less. I care about how muscular I am, and I care about how lean I am. Like I'm just like, right now I'm lifting, I'm doing stuff, but I'm more or less just kind of floating, maintaining. Like I know what I need to eat. My body has like kind of found this equilibrium where I can do and just keep doing and maintain. But I care about it less and less because I realize the importance of it and the effort it takes to get to that level. I'm like, oh, I got other interests now. I got other things I'm trying to pursue. That's not what I want to do. Just realize that perspective and how obsessed and how over the top. And I've been talking a lot more about mobility and yoga and what I'm doing. I'm doing a lot more yoga than I am lifting now. But it's
no, I think that's awesome. It's like that's what's important is like being able to notice like, hey, my interest in this type of fitness, whatever, is waning. It's not even like you're like, I'm going to search for something. It's like my interest has just naturally gone to some other thing that's still fitness related, but it's different. Like, right, for me, it was bodybuilding was like, I loved it. And I still do enjoy doing it, but it was like, that's all I was.
Yeah.
And then I found CrossFit. And for me, that was like, oh, this is cool. I really enjoy doing this. And then recently it was like, oh, I enjoy running. It's like, I don't need to be the best at any of those because I just enjoy all of them a good amount. And so it makes it easier for me to pursue health and fitness in all of those aspects. It's like, do I understand? Like you were saying, if I really wanted to be bigger, people are always like, are you in like, how much of a surplus are you in? And I'm like, right now, I don't care about bulking and cutting. It's like, I just want to maintain my size and, I'm not in the gym being like, I need to improve my 1 rep max back squat right now. I'm just like, nah, I understand that if I really wanted to do that, I could make that happen. Other things would have to fall by the wayside. If I really wanted to go only on runs, I could do that. But then other things, it's just like, for me, I enjoy all of the things that I do. So I don't feel the need to become, an expert or the best at any of them, because I think where my time is best served anyways is with what we're doing anyways. So it's like, it would be silly for me to chase those things. And there's nothing wrong with it. Like, I think that people that are professional athletes in any sport, any sort of like, that's great. And we need those things because those help inspire the people that maybe are just going to do it a little bit to improve their health or whatever. So it's really up to the person, man. And, but yeah, like 100% with what you were saying, I understand I could be better at X, Y, Z, but I enjoy doing X, Y, and Z. So I'm going to do all of them.
Yeah, having enjoyment is a point of contention with my content, because if you're going into fitness to have fun, you have to put that into perspective with what kind of results you're going to get. Doesn't mean you're not going to get results, but I try to really get a point across where fitness is not supposed to be fun in itself. Like, you can enjoy it. You can do fun things that are physically active, but you have to also make sure, whether with professional guidance or with research, that what you find fun is going to lead you to what you think you're going to get. If you're doing, for example, CrossFit, and you're expecting a bodybuilder, because a lot of these guys that compete in these games, with whatever they're taking and all that kind of stuff, and training 8 hours a day and, all natural, sure. But when you're doing this type of stuff and you look that way, not everyone is going to end up looking that way. Not everyone. If you're doing swimming, you're not going to look necessarily like, or have it has to line up, it has to match what you think your outcome is going to be. If you want to look like a bodybuilder, guess how you have to train? Like a bodybuilder. It's about
managing expectations for sure.
That's it.
And I think, I don't know, I guess for some reason I have found out how to be good at that, but it's like, I understand the amount of work I would have to put in to become a games athlete, or to, like, I truly don't think I could ever get to that level. It's just genetically, it's not there for me. And then the other things I'm not going to do, but it's like, I understand what is needed to get to those levels, and I understand I'm not willing to put in that work, and there's nothing wrong with that, But then the same thing goes for weight loss, like what you were saying. If your goal is to go from 400 pounds to 200 pounds, you can't just think it's going to be easy, happy-go-lucky. It's going to be tough, but there's nothing wrong. Like, it's like we said, it's like talking about something being hard is looked at as bad. It's like, no, it's just the reality of the situation. Like, it is very hard at the start, but it does get easier. And that's what I like to tell people is like, oh, it must be so, like, maintaining weight loss is the hardest thing. It's like, at the start it is, but it truly isn't. I don't even think about it anymore. I just live my life. I don't identify, which sounds funny because my name is Obese Beast, but it's like, as far as when I'm walking around throughout the day, I don't identify as a guy who used to be 360 pounds. Because if I identified as that, I would not push myself as hard as I do.
Right.
Because I would always be able to rest on the fact that, oh, well, yeah, he beat me in the workout, or yeah, he's faster than me, but he probably wasn't 360 pounds at one point. If that was always my mindset, I would not be where I am now, without a doubt. So I don't like to think of myself as someone who used to be morbidly obese. I just think of myself as someone that, you know, makes YouTube videos and likes to work out. That's it. Not
because again, you're not that person. You're not that person anymore, and you change, and your identity never was that weight, which is why you were able to make the choice to leave it. If that was your identity, and you made that your identity, that's where people get wrapped up in these movements, because you can't, it's a lot harder. It's a lot more, I guess, hypocritical to be a part of the fat acceptance and not be fat, which baffles me about with some of these nutritionists, and also, which it's kind of evil, in my opinion. If you're a nutritionist and you have that in your profile, it's almost like you are capitalizing on victim culture for your business. And same thing with Madeline and all these other, she's not a nutritionist. She's a special needs lady in a very special way. That's more special than anyone that I've ever talked about. But, you know, it's capitalizing on.
It's dangerous, man. Yeah. Like I was having a conversation with somebody that she works in like nutrition and stuff, and she is not at all familiar with your content. Like she's actually a CrossFit Games athlete that does nutrition, right? She helps people. But I was having a conversation with her because she was talking about how in Florida, apparently a registered dietitian got someone shut down for helping someone with nutrition that wasn't a registered dietitian. But we started talking about about registered dietitians like using intuitive eating, and I'm like, I think that there is a very specific person that preaching intuitive eating to can help, and I think that person is probably someone that struggled with eating disorders, is afraid to eat food. I can see where that can be helpful, and I do think there's a reason intuitive eating exists, but if you're a registered dietitian and your whole thing is health at every size and you're preaching intuitive eating, that is unbelievably dangerous to people that are following you. Because it's not just dangerous, it's mean. Because I don't think that the issue is a lot of people think, like, I think that most people that are morbidly obese don't want to be morbidly obese. And maybe that is a controversial thing to say, but because of all of the health issues, like, people don't want to be that size. So to preach them intuitive eating, that is not going to help them lose weight, because there's a reason I got to the size that I was at. I intuitively ate myself to 360 pounds.
That's what I say.
So it's like
you've intuitively eaten your whole life. That's why you're that way.
So, but it's just crazy. It's like but it's selling them the fact that if you just intuitively ate, you will lose the weight. They don't say that because they're health at every size, right? They don't say that, but I truly think that's what's implied. Because again, health at every size, right? It's about healthy habits, and then healthy habits, of course, lead to actual weight loss. So if you market intuitive eating as this way to lose weight, but you don't actually say that, the people that are following you are going to think, oh, I just need to kick diet culture, and then my metabolism will all of a sudden work properly and I'll lose weight. It's not true. And it's like selling this lie. And a lot of these RDs are selling something, a book, whatever. There's always some reason they are shilling this stuff to people. It's because there is a monetary gain for them to have. Yeah. I truly think that.
Yeah, and no one's perfect. And I think I mentioned this in one of my recent, maybe the last video. It's not to say that everything and all the content in these accounts are incorrect. It's not that everything this person says. It's not to say that this person is an evil person. She wants people to die. It's, you know, everyone takes that to the extreme. It's like, no, I don't hate this individual as a human. But when you have those types of things in the profile, it gives this underlying, it has this underlying theme of, it overshadows when you know the person is pushing intuitive eating and healthy at every size. Every post has to be taken in that light. So it gives this this background glaze over all their content that just has this ulterior motive that is really detrimental. It causes more harm than good. And I just don't think that these people are, let me rephrase, a lot of people that are doing nutrition they only come at it from the nutrition. They're not really big into the exercise portion of it. They're only doing one thing. So if you look at it from only, okay, people have eating disorders and this, okay, fine. We need to look at it from an all-encompassing, from a psychological standpoint, from, a society standpoint. We do need to look at it from a political standpoint, from an economical standpoint, from a location, from accessibility, from, experience. There's so many individual needs from a person, so you can't make any blanket statements. But Instagram is just some place where you will get the wrong message. You will get the the cliff notes and move on and not really absorb and understand, because people want, food is an addiction. Food's an addiction. Food is like a drug. It's a legal drug, especially the way it's manufactured. It might not come with a prescription, but it should, considering just the concentrated sugar. And that's what pisses me off about a lot of these nutritionists that show, there's a picture the other day or on the video that says good and bad calories and has the good and the bad crossed out. So, there's no good, there's no good or bad calories. Look, 300 calories is not 300 calories when one's pure sugar and one's there are other factors in the body. And I don't understand. There are a lot of top level fitness experts or big accounts that literally push this. I'm like, I really don't think it's good. I think people are simplifying nutrition too much to just calories. That bothers me a lot. That bothers me a lot. And I think it's pandering to people's desire to, I want to do a little bit of everything. You only live once, and and the flexible and the ability to, it panders into people's, I can't think of the word right now, but they're
want for things to be easy.
They're indulgent nature. So if you tell someone, you can have pizza, it's just about the calories, just get back on your diet tomorrow. It's like, you're giving people permission to fucking do these things. Not that they don't have permission already. They need to fucking understand that they make their decisions, but
there's consequences for every decision you make.
And when you have hundreds of thousands of followers and you say those things, you're not talking to the people that have, it all locked down upstairs. You're talking to the people like Alan's. I mean, look, the stupidest person in the room. You're making your content for the person that does not fucking get it. So make sure that you're doing this, and you're sending the highest quality message. People tend to want an arm around the shoulder.
Yeah.
They just don't. They just do.
I like to think of like one of those dietitians, like all of them are on Instagram, but like having an actual person face to face, and they're like, I need help with my diet. I'm having issues. And then there's just like, eat whatever you want.
Yeah. I don't think they're going to say that. That's ridiculous.
But I'm just imagining the climate of like, what? Like, I'm having issues with my nutrition. I need your help as a dietitian. Eat this and that. It's like, you're not helping me at all.
There are no bad calories. Like,
it's like, but I'm 500 pounds. Like, I need help. Eat whatever you want.
Yeah.
Intuitively.
What your body craves, what your body needs. It's like,
my body craves Cinnabon all the time.
Yeah. So don't restrict yourself, because then you'll crave it. It's like, well, if I restrict anything I'm addicted to, I'm going to crave it. That's kind of what a craving is, kind of like.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think that these nutritionists actually do that. That's kind of ridiculous, but that's the message that they put out. Like, it's the same thing for me. If I say new diet plan, shut your fucking mouth. If someone obese came up to me in the gym, like, hey man, I saw your content, I'd be like, shut your fucking mouth. I'm not going to say that to them either, but what message, you're getting someone's attention, and then it's like, what are you delivering to them? Like, what's your intent behind your content? That's why you're getting positive feedback. That's why I get positive feedback. If you have the right intent and you're actually being transparent with your audience about your journey, about the realities of the situation, that's what people respond to, because you have so much bullshit being thrown around that is being detrimental to people and their children. And it's, shit flows downhill, and we're not addressing like the fundamental issues of, I don't know. Where do you think this all goes? What do you think is the most important thing to start to, aside from what we're already doing? What do you think is, there's so many different variables at play. We'll wrap it up with this. Where do you think is like where's the bullseye? Where's the most important place to focus on all of these things, albeit there are a lot of variables and there's only so much that any one person can do?
Yeah, I think the most important thing is knowledge. Just giving people the information, whether that's the parents right now, the kids. I think we can definitely teach the kids right now, but like given the knowledge, because we're gonna end up looking like the the people from Wally that were just sitting in their chairs and like everyone was just super obese in their chairs and they didn't move.
Right.
And I don't. That's not the dystopian future I want to live in. So.
Yeah, I think knowledge is great. Knowledge is power, and I think a big issue we have is that there's so much perceived knowledge. There's so much knowledge out there. There's so much information and misinformation or misguided or with ulterior motives and underlying, monetizations and things that people want. I think that's one of the perceived issues is that there's too much information. Where do I start? And it's like, that's why I keep pounding the basics. Like, don't overcomplicate it. Don't go sucking down supplements. What do you need to do? You need to eat less food, change the quality, get rid of those processed foods, and move more. Literally, if you just follow that and that's like your guide, your North Star, how are you not going to see progress? Just go for a walk. Yeah. If you're walking 5 miles a day and you're eating less and you're drinking tons of water, I would lose weight. I would lose weight if I go into a caloric restriction or like I just stop eating as much and I start moving more. If I exercise and go swimming more or walking more, I will lose weight too. You will lose more weight. Like we can all lose more weight until your body says, nope, we're gonna punch out. So I don't think it's that complicated. And I think that's the issue is that when an issue is complicated, you can sell someone a product but here's a simple fix.
Oh yeah.
The simple fix is already there. It's a simple problem. It's a simple problem with a simple fix.
The issue is, no matter I've always said it's very simple to lose weight. That doesn't mean that it's easy, but I think that's what tricks people is like, there's no way it's that simple because it's been hard for my whole life. It's like, no, it really is that simple. It's just really hard to actually stick to, when you first start.
Yeah, which is why a great community, which is why podcasts like this and pages like yours are going to give people that kind of accountability and that, that kind of that sounding board that they don't have in their communities. So I think it does start with the individual. It starts with these types of videos and podcasts and articles and pages. So people get exposed to this information. But whereas you said you dropped a brand new video today?
Yep, dropped a video. The channel's Obese to Beast if you want to check it out. It's about the dark side of obesity. So
ooh, the dark side. Yeah. Nice.
Yep.
Is it Star Wars themed? Do you have like the whole? Did you dress like Darth Vader?
No, I didn't pull a Michelle.
Oh man! All right, Darth Vader. Lose weight, my son. Cut your carbs. No, I don't want fiber.
But that would have been pretty funny.
But Cinnabons, you can never have a Cinnabon again. He's like, no.
I find your lack of strength disturbing.
Yeah. You shall lose weight, my son. Diet culture. That's like a meme right there. You have like Darth Vader and like has a thing diet culture and then the Force. Well, dude, it was a pleasure. I really appreciate you sticking through the hiccup we had a little while ago. And thank you so much, everyone, for watching. And go check out John's channel. Go subscribe, Obese to Beast, and on Instagram, obese_to_beast, and that's been above his head the whole time. So make sure you follow him on Instagram and protect him from the trolls. He's feeling victimized. Everyone's yelling at him for saying the fucking truth. So I think one of the most important. Sheep says you be a hot Darth Vader. So I think everyone needs at least the truth, or at least your truth, my truth, and people that are saying things that they believe in for the right reasons and not fluffing someone else's pillow, just saying it like it is and the way that we see it, which I think is more and more rare and more valuable because most people are pandering to monetization. They're pandering to, well, I don't want to get this deleted or I'm going to offend someone. If you say things the way you feel and in your manner, it always come across properly. And I think that's why this is definitely, it's going to continue going in the right direction. At least I hope. Just the fact that, you're a real person, you've been there, you have perspective that many people don't have. And I think you just put out really valuable content. And as always, I'm super glad that you're here. So I appreciate it, man.
Yep. Thanks for having me, bro.
You got it. All right, fam. Thank you so much for joining me for episode 1202 of the Daily Mother Swole. Remember that this kind of had a little hiccup. So there's a part 1 and a part 2. They'll both be on the Daily Swole podcast channel. So make sure you subscribe, and you can check out my content, of course, Swolenormous, everywhere else. I had a brand new video yesterday, a new one coming tomorrow. So check back here. We'll be here tomorrow for 1203. So peace, McGee's fam. Deuce Magoose, ya boy, Papa Swolio. And John out.
Bye.